The final part of Nelson's Navy Fact and Fiction is a review of vessels and effects used in film and TV dramatizations, in chronological order. There have been 5 films which feature Nelson and the Battle of Trafalgar. The first 3 were silent films made in 1911, 1918 and 1926. They mostly used sets of ships' decks and models. The 4th film was the 1941 black and white talkie, That Hamilton Woman, also known as Lady Hamilton, a favourite of Winston Churchill's. The title comes from a comment made by an onlooker as Nelson gives a speech in the House of Lords. There is that Hamilton woman. It was produced and directed by the Hungarian-born Alexander Korda for his British company and starred the dream couple of the day, Vivien Leigh and Laurence Olivier. It was filmed in the USA in 1940 after the fall of France. It used models for the ships, a standard technique at the time. One of them, a 25-foot model of HMS Victory, is in the Command of the Oceans Gallery of Chatham Historic Dockyard. The model on display has a complete hull, but those used in the film had open bottoms so they could be moved on trolleys in a tank filled with water. The film shows the approach of the British towards the combined fleet in their columns, but as soon as action is joined, the depiction becomes overdramatic, with flaming linstocks, blazing mat tubs, ships on fire and other unrealistic effects, such as ships capsizing. Although not a novel of Nelson's Navy, the vessel used in the 1950 film of Treasure Island, the classic Robert Newton Jim Lad version, is significant. She was a converted working coastal schooner, the Rylands, built in Morecambe in 1887. For the film, her fore and aft rig was adapted to a square rig. She also appeared as the Pequod in the 1956 production of Moby Dick, starring Gregory Peck as Captain Ahab. The vessels used for the 1951 film, Captain Horatio Hornblower, RN, were mostly models, but the film includes some very impressive deck sets. In the early action scene in which the Lydia surprises the Natividad by night, the anchored Lydia was played by the Rylands Hispaniola from the 1950 film of Treasure Island. In the actual battle between Lydia and Natividad, the gun deck scenes were so good that they were reused in at least one other film. They also feature some terrific battle damage. An elegant Italian brigantine, the Marcel B. Cerdo, was used as the Witch of Endor cutter. It was built in Viareggio, Italy in 1915. Here in the film, Hornblower, Bush and Quist first notice her in Nantes. The part of Brown in the book had become another character, Quist. The scene where Hornblower reports the Admiral aboard HMS Victory was filmed on HMS Victory herself. The Marcel B. Cerdo was also used in the 1962 film HMS Defiant, released in the USA as Damn the Defiant. The Marcel B. Cerdo had been rebuilt as a medium-sized late 18th century frigate. It shows great detail, including gangways with hammocks packed into nettings and an open waist. The Marcel B. Cerdo featured in 8 other films set in this period. Sadly, it sank at its dock in 1981, after many years of neglect. The mutiny on the Bounty happened in both fact and fiction, in 1789 and a novelization of 1932. It has been the subject of 3 successful films. The 1962 production was based on the 1932 novel. The ship used was custom made for the purpose. She was built from original Admiralty plans in the traditional manner in a shipyard in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. Her tonnage was twice what it would have been originally. She really could sail because it was the best way to get her to the film locations. Crewed by Lunenburg fishermen and film staff, she sailed by the Panama Canal to Tahiti for filming. She was saved from being burnt at the end of the film by the actor Marlon Brando's protest, so MGM kept the vessel. After a worldwide promotional tour, she survived as a tourist attraction in St. Petersburg, Florida. She appeared in 6 other films, including the 1983 comedy Yellowbeard, a 1990 remake of Treasure Island, and Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. Sadly, she sank in dramatic circumstances during Hurricane Sandy in 2012. The vessel used as HMS Surprise in the 2003 film Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World is still afloat in the Maritime Museum at San Diego. It was built in 1970 as a replica of an 18th century frigate, HMS Rose, and adapted for its role as HMS Surprise. A notable feature of its adaptation for the film was a lovely French horseshoe stern. She was built in the same yard as the Bounty and is now 50 years old. The vessel used for the Hornblower TV series was built in Turkey as the Grand Turk. It is now based in St. Malo as L'Etoile du Roi. Thank you for watching.